All right, we're back out in the shop, obviously. Okay, we got the Charlie horse. My shop is a wreck. It always is a wreck, but that's okay. That's how I do my best work. A little shop tour. That's all you get. Anyway, so ran this thing out at Good Evening Ranch with a bunch of the boys. Man, I'm gonna tell you what. If anybody ever gets out there, takes a ride out there, you'll want to go back again and again. That place is amazing. Now, we happened to catch it during the hurricane, Ian, or Ian, whichever, and it freaking poured on us. And we rode. If you ever watch some of those videos, man, the water was raging. But man, it was good video. So, okay. So, I don't want to take them off because I want to fit this all on there. right now, this axle, what are they, about just under 3 inches from boss to boss. This one is 2 1/8. So that's a 3/4 chain bolt in there. And the pin I pulled out was a 3/4, or is that 5/8? I might have to drill that out. I might have to drill it out. That's okay. I'm gonna have to shove this axle back a little bit. So many washers stacked on that. Oh, because somebody's had it off in a lock washer that was all stacked on the bottom. So either it's bent and was hitting something. I mean, those balls are heavy duty. Those ball ends, boy, they're pretty beefy. I'm obviously gonna take those off. Boy, I wonder if I could make the rods out of these two. These are freaking beefy, man. And then use these, and then later on, because the ones I got are a little thinner. Boy, I wonder if I could have to taper it and cut it. I have to re-weld it to each other. I'm just gonna make some. But man, those are beefy. I'm gonna keep those for spares. Those are really beefy. That's cool. I'll put it in the spare pile. I'm gonna leave that tie rod on for now, or is that gonna be in my way? I have to swap the spindles side to side so that all that shit goes on the back. Just actually. Set that aside for a bit. I mean, even that's beefy. I could cut this. Cut this. I could find a piece of pipe to fit over top of these. And man, they would be some beefy. I might do that. We'll see if my other ones work, but the ends aren't going to be big enough. We'll have to see how long the tails of those hang out. You know they're going to be a bother. I mean, that one was greased to shit. You won't believe, I got it, but you won't believe how nasty old grease gets. Look at that. That is grease. It's so old. This thing hasn't been greased in ages. Packed into that grease groove. Like I probably couldn't even, it's almost like rubber. That's crazy, but we got her out. we all know that the horse axles come with a Zerk fitting on the bottom. It's ripped out, but I keep replacing it because I want to keep, obviously mine is greased. That's the way we ride these things. So this one didn't come with one. It has two replaceable bronze bushings in there. So they're in pretty good shape, but I drilled and tapped for a Zerk. I went with just a little straight, so it's as low as possible. It's on the bottom side of the axle. Hopefully the bumper covers, you know, a lot of it like I did that one. But I want to be able to pack that full of grease and ride these pretty hard. All right, it's in there. Okay, we're back working on the swept axle, the John Deere swept axle. So, I got in the mail, these are, I think it's off a 03 or something, Honda TRX 90 four-wheeler. Tie rods, fully enclosed, ball joint, castle nut, and cotter keyholes, adjustable. I may have to cut these down and put a piece or shrink them, possibly. So we're gonna work on that. I gotta cut this tab off. This is the old steering tab, or one of the old steering tabs. This is the old tie rod tab. Now, the horse front end, this from center to here is longer than this. So I could leave it short, but it'll give you less torque on the steering wheel. I want to make the arms kind of the same distance, at least from the center pivot to this hole, the same as they were there. Now the axle is swept forward. You know, we're going to kind of figure it's fine. I haven't decided if I'm going to raise them with the up. I don't know if I'm going to reinforce them. Maybe I will. These are the old reinforced ones. But basically I'm going to measure center to that center of that hole, plus obviously, and then I'm going to weld something on those. We're going to start there, and then I can start cutting tie rods and getting all that figured out for steering. Once that's done, I do have, those tires, the 19s, they're going to go on these rims. I'm going to pull those off. I'm going to sand them down a little bit, put some gray on them, right? They even have a pretty hefty little bead lock, or you know, little tire bead lock on that rim, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I'm going to tube them. I got some new tubes in those bags. I'm going to tube them, and then fill them full of my RV antifreeze. So we'll try to record all this stuff. First thing I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to measure that spindle, pull a spindle off. I'm going to cut that tab. I'll probably do this one first over here because it'll be easier. Pull that off and start welding a new tab on it. So that's where we're at. Center line to that. 3 and 8. 3 and 8. Quarter to the hole or so. Also, if you notice, okay, this tab is offset. The horse tabs are at a 90 degree. I'm going to make these at a 90. Just trying to keep the geometry as close to the same as I can. The swept axle forward is going to make a little bit of change, but it's not going to be that much of a difference. shot. All right, so I got the spindle built, drilled, okay? Okay, like I was saying, we're drilled, right? Pretty sharp turn, right? They're both done, both modified. Now, these are not the finished, I mean, these are the finished product. I haven't decided if I'm gonna reinforce these. I may just reinforce this. Of course, it's double thick now. If I start bending that, ultimately, I'm getting rid of these spindles. If I decide I like this swept axle, and I am going to do the trailer spindle, and I am gonna build knuckles that'll take a 1-inch bolt, fine thread, that you'll slide a bolt up through. I have a really good idea. I've been drawing up some patterns coming out with the trailer spindle and the hub. But for now, this is gonna do, just to see if I like this swept axle. I think I'm going to. I'm trying to get this done. I got a ride coming up. I may not even reinforce those. They're 1-inch spindles, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I got to get the steering tie rod set up. I may have to cut them. They're probably too long, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I just got these stupid whatever wheels mismatched. I'm going to use the rims, but I do want to get some wheels on there. I got the tie rods on. They're adjusted in as far as they can go. They're almost straight. I'm going to go with it and ride it that way. It's almost like, anyway. So the stance is sweet. Right? Man, I really like the way it looks. really like the way it looks. It's gonna look, obviously it's sitting like a dragster right now. It doesn't turn as far. Oh, there it goes now. I mean, it does all right. I mean, lockout on the nose is pretty 35 degrees. It's not bad. So I gotta put some stops because you don't. As soon as you catch a wheel, it'll bend that tie rod. But I'm gonna put some stops. Boy, you don't know how bad I want to ride it. But I gotta paint those rims so I can put those tires on there. And then I gotta I'm gonna pull the axle back out if I want to paint it, I guess, unless I can try to shoot some paint around it and not give a crap. But we'll see, but it's on there. If you're gonna do this, the situation with the tie rods on a swept axle is strange because you want your tie rod to be straight to your turning triangle, you know, straight out. Mine are kicked a little bit. I had to put the balls on the inside. Okay, if I put them on the outside, one wheel turns way further than the rest, or than the other, one direction, and then the opposite wheel the opposite direction. So you want to have these pushing out and pulling as straight as you possibly can. I'm going to go with that because I already made these, and they are what they are. I should have come out a little bit more, but I'm not super concerned. So the more you come out, the less steering. If I don't like what this is doing, I can kick it a little bit, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to go with it the way it is. The stance, I think in the front, I think I'm running like 30, just with these wheels, which they're going to be about the same. I think we're running, it's going to be somewhere around 38. The back is just, I mean, we'll call it 40. So it's got a pretty sweet little look to it. The front end will be higher with those bigger tires on over there. I got antifreeze, I got to fill them, I got tubes, I got a whole thing. I'm not going to film me changing tires out. So the next time we pop on here, the next phase will be, I'll have the tires on it. We'll see how they look. I mean, to be honest, for this run, I might just leave the, I should probably paint the rims because they're a pain to paint with tires on them. Carl will have a heart attack if I don't get rid of the green. We'll see. All right. All right, front end's coming along. These are my tie rods. I know they're off an ATV. These seem a little thin to me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull the end off. And I bought some small pipe. Okay. So I'm gonna slide that. Went on there earlier. Got a burr. Anyway. They must just flatten that. Huh, that's interesting. So anyway, I'm going to shove this on here. Okay. I'll weld the ends. And I'll probably spot drill through a couple spots, just to tack it to the arm in the middle, just to put an extra layer around these tie rods. My old ones, that's a piece of Schedule 40. They are beefy. I mean, the ends are about the same here. These are Heims. Obviously, these are a full sealed ball. These things I wasn't worried about bending. I mean, I did worry about an end breaking off, but they didn't. So I figure if that didn't break off with some of the stuff we put this thing through, putting a nice little reinforcing sleeve on these, it's got to be better than not. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so there's one welded, and did a couple spot drills, welded it in the center, welded it this end, so that one's a little reinforcement through there. I think it's going to help. So I'm going to put the other one on, or do the other one. I'm going to put these back on, Now we're gonna mount some tires. All right, thought I'd show a couple things before I put the wheels on. All right, we got tie rods on, they're all reinforced. I also added in, I don't know if you can see that there, some steering stops. Boom, hit the axle right there. Pretty beefy little 1/4 inch chunk. I got those on both sides. What I've also done is I've drilled and tapped the center of this for a 5/16 18 thread bolt, so that I can put a cap washer just like I used to have on the wheel horse. The wheel horse I used, I think, a 1/4 inch bolt, because them little 3/4 inch spindles, these are 1 inch 5/16 bolt will be fine. So what that's going to look like, I got one side done, right, just like that. Got a cap on it. I leave the C-clip right on there. C-clip falls off. It's like double safety. So anyway, I'm going to do the other side. That's what I got going on. And again, get them tires mounted up. I'm going to have them on. All right, so I got the axle going. I just mounted the tires. Painted the rims, mounted the tires. I put tubes in them. I like putting tubes in them because then you can run whatever pressure. You can fill them up with liquid. These things get driven against rocks, and you don't pop a bead, and I'll lose all your fluid on a ride. Then you got to drain the other one. I mean, whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, right now, brand new tubes, threw it in there. It's pumped full of air, right? It's hard because I want that tube to be all the way in that tire. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fill these full of fluid. I don't know if people have problems with it. I got a method that seems to work. It's super simple, and it takes a little time, but it's not effort. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I fill these. It's super simple, and it's just a siphon method. So anyway, bear with me. So first thing I'm going to do, right, I got we're going to pull the guts out of the stem. Like I said, these have air in them, so you're going to hear some air. Okay, pull that out. So you want to let all the air out of it so it stops. Now the tube won't collapse all the way, which is good, because we're not pumping fluid in here. I'm just I'm siphoning it. So then what I do, you'll notice over here in a little 2x4, basically I just want to put this at enough of an angle so that the air bubble is somewhere around here, right? You'll never get it all out, but basically that tire right now is skewed just enough to keep the air bubble up top. Okay, so then what you do, you go to Harbor Freight and you get one of these cheap bulb pumps, right? I've had this one for forever, but the hose end actually fits really well over the stem. Okay, so you shove it on the stem like that. So then you got this end. Up here I got RV antifreeze. I got 2 gallons for each tire. I actually gonna put, I think it'll take 2.5. I have another gallon over there that I'll open up. But all I do, siphon method, right? So if you got your one that you're siphoning out of, just has to be higher than the level of the where you're siphoning into, right? So I just take my hose, stick the hose all the way down on the bottom. Okay. Now the only trick is you kink this hose and let it start pumping fluid. Now if it gets right, and once you get the prime going, it'll start picking up. So I don't know if you can see it. I'll take you over here, but I'll hold my finger at a level. And it's going. All right, you see, it is actually going down. It takes a little bit, especially at first. Okay. Okay. So once in a while, what you're going to have to do, if it stops wanting to flow, which is still flowing right now, you might get a little bit of leakage. It's not enough to worry me. And when you're first starting, this damn thing, they're cheap, so they don't last. See, it just sucked an air bubble. So what I'll do too is you want to burp the tire and pull this out, and you let the air come out of the tube, put it back in. Well, of course, the bulb's sucking air. I'm gonna have to put a better clamp on that. Well, anyway, I'll get back, and once I put this. When you first start this, because there's so much dead airspace in this, you're gonna get a lot of backfeed. Like, as I had the camera off, it was just backfeeding through. So now it stopped bubbling, so I'll hit it again. And the more fluid you get into it, have another ear leak. Let's see if we can get a little more. Yeah, see, that one's leaking. These things are cheap. I'll put another different clamp on that. Anyway, we're pumping away right now. Right? Now we're getting down here. So it's pumping, pumping, pumping. Next time it needs to be burped, I'll put a clamp on there. But I'll show you the process. So I let it go until you watch the level quit, moving substantial. And then so like right now, it's moving, but it's slow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna burp the tire. Okay, you hold it like this. You let all that fluid, and after a minute, it'll start back burping. Through the hose. Okay. It'll do it a bit. There it goes. Right? And you just wait for it to kind of expel the air. There it goes, it's getting weaker. And then you reprime it and keep going. The more that gets into this tire, the less you'll have to burp it. It works. I don't have to pump it. I don't spill a bunch. Nothing like insane. So, okay, so that's 2 gallons in one tire. I think I can fit another probably half a gallon. But oh yeah, she's burping. So I'm gonna try to stuff another half gallon. I was gonna record outside, but it's way windy out. It'll just be shit for sound. But anyway, it's done. The freaking axle is sweet. I just took it for a test. Stability, the feeling of stability is just, amazing. Okay, the width on the front is 38.5 inches. The width at the back tires is 38.5 inches. It's the same track, front, rear. It's all done. I was able to add, with these bigger tires, I was able to add 6 pounds more per tire worth of fluid than the other tires I had, or I did add, I should say. Boy, I really like that axle. I would suggest, if you guys are if you're thinking about it and you can find one cheap and you've got the ability to do a little fab, man, I would suggest that the control and stability you feel with that wider axle and then shove forward. She's going to be a climber now. Man, it feels really good, guys. So if you can do it, do it. If you can't, don't. If I didn't come across this one, Georgie didn't, Erwin didn't try to get me this one, I wouldn't have put one in. So anyway, it's all done. Appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe. Till the next mod, I guess. See ya.